To this day, one of the most common things my mind comes up with when things are going bad and everything is going to shit and the doubts start to pile up is, do you have what it takes, or are you just doing this in vanity? And there's no reason for you to actually be putting in so much work because you were never meant to make it. And right now, everything is going decently well, so I don't really get those kinds of thoughts. And I'm talking legit right now. But even throughout a normal week, there's going to be things that happen that are going to initiate that pattern of thinking in my mind. And that pattern of thinking, the worst thing about it is that it seems a bit logical. It seems that it's a valid question, because it's a question of, if there is no point and there's a possibility of there being no point, then why do it? Because it's a lot of pain that you go through when you try to excel in everything. So if there is no possibility of you actually getting what you want, then why do it? And there's a couple of things here. The first thing is that, first of all, fuck off. You don't really know that you can or cannot do it. So what you are actually talking about is you not knowing whether you are capable of it or not, but also not knowing that you are 100% capable of it. So let's say there's an undefined possibility of you being able to achieve your goals if you put in enough work. And there is also a possibility that you can put in as much work as you want, but you're not going to make it. And because we don't know everything, we don't really know which of those two is true. What your brain tries to tell you is that if it's not guaranteed success, then what's the point in trying? And that is such a bitch cop out. And it tries to conceal that with, you're putting in so much work, is it worth it because you might fail? But if you distill it down, what it is saying is that if it's not guaranteed, then I don't want it. And that is because your brain has evolved over thousands of years to be cautious, to not put a lot of energy and effort into something that is very unpredictable. Because if the gamble goes wrong, you would die, at least in the past. But nowadays, we are talking about just putting in effort, and effort not to the extent where you starve to death or that the enemy tribe kills you. We're talking about effort in a very easygoing way. Because yeah, you might grind out for 6 months and put 12 hours of work every day into a business. But even if it fails, even if it all goes wrong, what really happened? Nothing. You didn't lose all that much money, you didn't lose all that much time. What would you be doing those 6 months anyways? You don't have such a cool life, bro. It's not like you would miss out on so much. You would just play video games and watch Netflix and maybe fuck a 5. So who cares? But your brain tries to convince you that you should care, because it would be so wonderful what you would be doing right now, and you are wasting your time working on your business or your physique or whatever else you work on. But in reality, all it is trying to do is avoid the pain of doing the work. And with the slightest bit of things not going your way, it uses that as a stepping stone to convince you to just lay back, eat some Cheetos, just chill, bro. And to that I say, fuck off. The other thing here is that if you haven't really had much success in the past, whether it be with business, whether it be socially, whether it be with your physique, then the moment things start to get hard, your brain goes back to all the failures you have had, and it looks at all those failures and it makes a logical decision that you're probably going to fail again. So it tries to demotivate you. It tries to tell you, don't do that again, because in the end you will fail. And because you will fail, you will waste all the energy you put into it. But in reality, the failures you have accumulated from your past are not proper failures. Because if you tried to, let's say, create a business before and most businesses fail anyways, then there's a good chance that you didn't really have the knowledge, you didn't really pick a good business model, whatever it is, and it failed. But you still learned a bunch of things and you increased your work ethic. So the fact that your first business failed does not really predict that your second business is going to fail. The same holds true with, for example, getting in shape. You might have gone 3 months of really consistently going to the gym, then you stopped for 6 months, and now you're trying to get back into it and you have taken it seriously. You're going 4 times a week, 5 times a week, you're counting calories, but your brain tries to tell you you're never going to be like properly big and aesthetic, so you're wasting your time. Just eat the fucking Ben and Jerry's and sit on the couch. But the assumption your mind makes that you're going to fail is an assumption based on falsehoods, on very different data and facts than the ones you have right now. Because of course, right now, if you put in the work in the gym and you put in the work in your diet, guess what? You're going to be big and aesthetic. So your mind is falsely making the assumption that you're going to fail. But in reality, it's very simple for you just to remain consistent and get what you want out of it. The point is that there is no actual scenario where the thought of what if all this is for nothing is valid. Because even if this time it is for nothing, the next time it's not going to be for nothing. And because you don't really know what's going to happen every single time, you don't know what's going to happen any of the times you actually try hard, you can't really use the uncertainty as an excuse to not try. Because you will never have guaranteed results in this life. There's not going to be a contract from God that the business you're going to start this time is going to work. There's not going to be a contract from God that this time you approach a girl, it's going to be good. There's no contract from God that you're going to go to the gym for the next 6 months and you're not going to get like an injury that's going to set you back a ton. So if you actually want some proper amazing results in life, you have to do it anyways. Even though you might just fail, you might just put a couple of years in a business and then you have jack shit to show for it. You might put a couple of years in the gym and then you hurt your back and you lose all your gains. And all the meal preps you did and all the times you did not indulge in food and everything, all that effort is gone. But maybe you don't get a back injury. Maybe that business does go well. And a couple of years later you are a jacked motherfucker with pretty girls and money. And life is good. So are you going to cry about it? Are you going to sit in your corner and say, no, please, I want my guaranteed results? The only guarantee this life is that you're going to be dead. That's the only guarantee. You're going to be dead, and a bit after that, nobody's even going to know you ever existed. And that holds true especially if you're afraid to put in some action because you might fail. It might all be for nothing. Fuck off.